Judgment Day have been a dominant force in WWE since 2022, but recent injuries to Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio have fractured the group significantly, and with Damian Priest's recent world title win at WrestleMania 40, these cracks have only deepened, and the jealousy within Finn Balor more particularly has deepened a lot after he and Damian both lost the tag titles at WrestleMania 40. But what is going on, guys? It is Ketch. How are you all? If you're new to the channel, please do like, share, and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow. And let's get into why I think there are cracks within the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day, I believe, is on the verge of implosion within the group after Damian Priest's antics towards both Finn Balor and JD McDonough at Backlash overnight in France. After Priest had defeated Jey Uso in a very interesting and well bought out match, Balor and McDonough both came to the ring and decided to get involved in the match, and then while Damian Priest did use his interference to win the match, he got very angry at both McDonough and Balor for interfering in the first place, wanting to do the match himself and get that clean victory over Jey Uso without any interference. And this has led me to believe that Damian Priest might in fact splinter off the group and go on a babyface run as World Heavyweight Champion. However, I think there's a bit of a better story between the ever-growing jealous Finn Balor and Damian Priest. JD McDonough is sort of a bit part player here in this instance at the moment. Maybe his loyalty will be questioned to either both Balor or Damian Priest, which one he decides to end up going with. But I think there is a definite match between Damian Priest and Balor likely to happen in the wings. Can't count out the fact that Jey Uso had such a great match at Backlash. I think there might be a rematch between both Priest and Jey at maybe the next pay-per-view at King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. I'm not entirely sure how that would go down essentially, but maybe something along the lines of Balor costing Priest the title as a result of his own jealousy, and the fact that Damian now sees himself as the de facto leader of the group and in charge now that Rhea Ripley is on the injured reserve list. So there's definitely an intricate story here to play out, and I think Priest is justified in wanting to win matches clean, as he's now the champion and wants to prove himself as champion, and not that dirty heel that sort of wins matches all the time with interference, as he has been doing for the last 2 years prior. So there is definitely a definite angle here that WWE are working towards, and I think the imminent breakup of the Judgment Day is going to happen very, very soon. Another thing to note about the Backlash match between Priest and Jey Uso is once Priest had won the World Heavyweight title, both McDonough and Balor went about trying to attack an already downed Jey Uso, but Priest actually came to Jey's rescue by pretty much pulling Finn Balor and JD off of Jey Uso, and then got physical with Finn Balor and grabbed him pretty much around the sort of chin area, and as if to say, what are you doing? He's already been beaten, we don't need to do it anymore. Now, if this was the Judgment Day of the 2023 and prior, they would have just kept beating down Jey Uso until a babyface motor ran in and make the save, a la Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, etc, etc. But in this instance, that didn't happen. Priest actually called Balor and McDonough off, so that has led me to sort of think that, you know, Priest is, I think, definitely going to go down this babyface run at some point in time. And I just don't know exactly when that will be. It's hard to sort of predict this sort of thing given WWE at the moment. It's so unpredictable, at least from what I can see. Some of it's predictable, some of it's very unpredictable. But I definitely think there's maybe even a triple threat match between Priest, Balor, and Jey Uso on an upcoming pay-per-view might be an angle they can potentially go with. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The implosion of the Judgment Day, I think, is coming very soon. It might even happen as early as tomorrow's Monday Night Raw. Priest might be nuclear with them getting involved in his match, as he's repeatedly told them on the weeks prior to Backlash that he did not want them getting involved in the matches, or he's getting involved in his matches, I should say, and they have been doing it ever since. So Priest has definitely got a bone to pick, and he's not particularly happy at the moment, so we'll have to see what happens on Monday Night Raw, and what he says to both Balor and JD McDonough, because it's definitely showing those babyface traits, as I've already mentioned. Obviously, Rhea Ripley's injury has definitely thrown a spanner in the works as far as creative is gone for the Judgment Day, because prior to her injury, Rhea was sort of the main leader of the group, keeping them all in sort of touch and saying, we are the Judgment Day, we run the WWE, we're the most dominant faction, etc, etc. But now her being injured, as well as Dominic Mysterio being injured as well, has sort of given the Judgment Day that they've lost their two most critical sort of members. Obviously with Rhea, she's just a badass, and you know, everything she says and does pretty much goes. And with Dominic, he's a heat magnet. Everywhere he goes, the crowd boos him out the building. So they definitely lost two of their more interesting characters. Priest has definitely shown a lot more character development over the last year, whereas the likes of Balor and JD, they just feel a bit like a bit part player in the background, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Now I'm not sure if that's got to do with how they've been booked, but you know, Finn's been doing this for years. He sort of knows what he's been doing, and I think, you know, that's how they're going to portray it on TV over the next few weeks and months. I think they're going to portray him as getting ever more jealous of Damian Priest, because Priest has done the one thing that Balor couldn't do over the last year, and Priest actually won the World Heavyweight title. Obviously he did it with a cash-in on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, but Balor went after Seth Rollins and that world title for a good 3 to 4 months last year, losing every single time to Seth Rollins. Now a lot of people might have said that Balor deserved to have a run with the World Heavyweight title, but this is just a perfect storyline from Triple H. He's got Balor really starting to show really jealous traits at this point in time, and you know, there's that definite seeding resentment, is I guess the way I would put it, towards Priest for doing something that he couldn't do over the last year, something that he's accomplished. Balor hasn't been world champion since 2016 when he was the inaugural Universal Champion, but unfortunately he only held that belt for 24 hours before he himself was injured in that Summerslam match in 2016. So you know, there's definitely, Finn probably thinks that, at least in the storyline perspective, that he hasn't done what he could have achieved, and he's definitely lacking more world titles to his resume. He's definitely done everything else, but I think, you know, he definitely deserves to have a run with a world title. Maybe a heel Balor going up against a face Priest might be one avenue they go, but I do think Jey Uso still deserves another rematch. So that's why I'm definitely leaning towards that triple threat match I mentioned earlier. And I think the Judgment Day, though, they're sort of on the verge of implosion, as I've already mentioned a couple of times throughout this video. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out over the next few weeks, but I do think that implosion is definitely coming. And you know, there's definitely some other storyline angles they can work into it. They can have Rhea Ripley sort of come back one night even though she's still injured and go, what are you guys doing, sort of thing. They've been the dominant group in WWE alongside the Bloodline for the last couple of years. Definitely on the Raw brand they've been more dominant, but I think now's probably the right time to break them up and have them all go forward single wise in their respective ways and see who can sort of really keep it on their own 2 feet. But I'll love to see how it sort of all unfolds over the next couple of weeks and months. And yeah, I think it'll be really good from a storytelling perspective, and just really great TV again from Triple H and the creative team. I think they're doing a fantastic job with the Judgment Day as a group at the moment, and it's got me guessing all which ways at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we'll guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anyway guys, that has been the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you do have enjoyed, please do let me know what you think in the comments yourself, and do like and share and subscribe so you never miss another upload, and I'll catch you with a video very, very soon. Have a good one guys. See ya. Bye bye.